we did it.
What's up?
I just finished the finale literally 2 minutes ago, and it put me in such a good mood.
That's really our intention with the show, is just to put you in a good mood.
Perfect. Thank you for doing that. But before we delve into the finale, and I'm going to let everyone know before we actually discuss what happens, for spoilers and everything, I just wanted to ask you kind of what inspired this whole premise and story, which, if people don't know, it's about two New Yorkers who moved to the country, and it's really funny.
I created the show with my really good friend Liz Merriweather, who did New Girl. I think it really came from a very real place. Like me and my husband, I'm from Manhattan, and my husband is from Texas and Louisiana. He knows how to like live on the land, and he'll like go on a hike and he'll find critters and talk to them. It's like he's very capable. And I am a Manhattanite, prepper, and I can like organize a pantry. You know what I mean? So there's a difference in our sort of uses out in the brush, if you will. And so I think, given that Scott and I have this, Liz and I started trying to kind of like conceptualize an idea for a show. We always kept enjoying the idea of a fairly marriage, just like the ins and outs of getting to know someone and unpeeling and unfurling what is great about them and what is also sort of unsavory about them. But it's like what you love and hate about them. Anyway, the point is, it's like that interesting interpersonal relationship discovery when you've already married it. You know what I mean? So
right.
we always enjoyed that aspect of storytelling, and then we liked taking that concept and submerging it in this true life fantasy that my husband and I have, which is to move somewhere rural. And I think there was a lot of Brooklyn. I sort of had that dream. I think we've become so obsessed with our technology that we want to kind of regress, and it's kind of a funny, or sort of a poignant conversation now to think about simplifying and where we've come. So there's some sort of resonance that was sort of unintended, in the storyline, that sort of makes a lot of sense and kind of is relatable for right now, the simpler life of, and really the show, I just want to say, we do wrestle and play with some blue state, red state politics, cultural politics, really. And ultimately, if anyone looks like a bunch of turkeys, it's us. So it's like sort of we poke fun at ourselves all the time. And I think ultimately the show is about differences, but that despite those differences, ultimately we're all human and we feel, empathy and love for each other. And so the thematic of community is deep seated in the show.
I mean, talk about community. This wasn't in the finale, but when all the women go to the OBGYN together.
Yeah.
I thought that was so funny. How did you guys get that idea?
Well, the idea is that in Bucks North, there is no OB/GYN, there's no gynecologist. So that, they make a day of it and everybody kind of gets in a van and like, woo, baby, and get a check downstairs, like, why not make a day of it? So that was just like a fun writer's room riff.
No, that was hysterical. I could totally imagine my friends and I doing something similar, even though I'm based in LA and there are obviously OBGYNs everywhere, but
everywhere.
I know, now I want to do that. I'm like, let's go down the street all together in the car and
come on.
Were you, as a New Yorker, and you're based in California, correct?
Yeah.
As a New Yorker, how long did you not have a license for? Is that true, or was that just a made-up thing?
I actually grew up in a household, but my father's in motorsport, so he developed race car. So like I love to drive, and so that was not but we like the idea. There's many New Yorkers who do not know how to drive. So I think that part of it, we enjoyed giving that, you know, that fun thing to have to that hurdle to have to get over.
No, and does your husband's family still live in the South?
Yes, they live in Texas. And a lot of the family was driven out after Katrina. So
Okay.
There's lots of people asking questions and everything. How do you just like
No, it's like, should we turn them off for now? I might turn them all off.
Hold on. You did a poop?
Yeah.
No.
And they got my
Sorry.
poop chart.
No, don't worry. My dog was barking earlier. We've all been totally pivoting in this
Do you go put a sticker
social
on the
distancing thing.
I did.
Ugh.
A police car one.
Race car one?
Yeah, was it?
Wow, you guys, we're potty training. This is a big deal. I'm so sorry. Listen, that's so great, honey. I'm proud of you. Right.
It's a fast one.
It's a fast guy.
Yay!
Yes, you can go in there.
I turned off the comments for now because too distracting, but we can take some fan questions later
Okay.
if we're feeling it.
Sorry,
No, don't worry.
It's a big deal, you see, and when you're 3, yes, you can go down there, honey. It's like he's learning to. Sorry, this is just classic. This is the quarantine interview. Okay.
No, this is a quarantine interview.
Really, it's a really big deal. I'm really excited for you.
Yay!
That you learn to go to the pee-pee and the potty, and then it's like when you got to go to the next hurdle, guys, it's hard. Okay, sorry. All right.
Don't worry. Well, I mean, that's kind of lends itself nicely because everyone, I'm going to talk about the finale now. So if you haven't watched and you don't want to be spoiled,
Okay.
leave. Okay, we're talking now. Congratulations to your character.
Yeah, we toiled with it in the writer's room, but then ultimately we felt like it was a fun thing to do to kind of let Rio embark on this like new world and I think, if we get a season 3, I think it submerges us right back in that pocket of feeling kind of fish out of water, where it's like here's Mike and Rio who are kind of fumbling and bumbling, trying to get through their daily lives and trying to just do things that other people are very capable of doing. Them taking on, being parents and like, what does that mean? And pregnancy and labor and like, the kind of cultural politics and social discussion that there is of like how people child rear and how people want to do labor, want to do pregnancy and, maybe Rio's envisioning kind of a certain way of going about things. I don't know. It's a fun place for Liz and I to kind of investigate. And when we talked about it for a long time, we were like, do we want Kay to be pregnant at the end, or Janine for that world?
Yeah, seriously.
That would have been it too. But I think ultimately what I enjoy so much about the show is that it is about those relationships. It's the comedy lies in all of the tension and in the love that they have between each other, and the circumstances, are just provide a web for comedy, really.
No, especially in terms of like child rearing and birthing in Nebraska compared to New York. And I remember in one of the earlier episodes how the pig, there was like a jokes about doing a water birth with the pig.
Yeah.
Right. And
doula for the pig and, just like what kind. Yeah. It's just, these are the kinds of, the kinds of discussions that we get to open up, really.
Exactly. And like, what will Rio and Mike's parenting look like in contrast to Beau and Kay?
The family, will they want to get involved, and how does the community, a lot of smaller towns, you have like the community come in, aid in all kinds of ways that perhaps in a different sort of community, a sort of more urban community can kind of keep to yourself, and so that's why we wanted the news to spread literally, like like the storyline like everybody else knows before they do. But yeah, so look, I'm really proud of the show. I feel like in this time where we're all sort of, we're cooped up, I do notice that it has provided a genuine respite for my friends and family, just to have something that is really kind in spirit, really generous in its consideration for community and friendship. And I know that sounds kind of like, but we somehow mine for so much and provide so much sort of silly, ridiculous, insane improvisational comedy within that Liz Merriweather, I give her great credit, because she just is a powerhouse in the writer's room, and just continues to be sort of epic. And I just enjoy working with her, and I love her, and I feel lucky that I get to do it with her. And Dax Shepard is obviously like a comedy powerhouse, and I feel like you look at our cast. Dax and I were just talking about this. Like, our cast is ace. Lennon Parham, David Koechner. I mean, Ed Begley Jr. and Pam Grier, JT Neal, and even our supporting cast. It's really it's remarkable. Like, even people, Celia Weston, came in to guest star. It's just the quality is high in terms of who we sort of curate to be on the show, and it just provides, like, I don't know, it's like every single scene I want to improvise with every single person. Like, Martin,
how much improv do you guys do?
We do, like, we'll do we always do the first we always do what's written first. So you always do your script, and I, especially as a director, when I come in, I'm like, we have to you got to get the words, you know what I mean?
Right.
And once we have that, it's in the pocket, it's like, then you have the ability to open it up, and we do a fun run or a tumble take, as I like to call it, and that's when just all hell can break loose and no one knows what's going to say. So I think, when you have people who know each other so well, like, I'm not sure that I love anything more than ping-ponging with Dax or Len Koechner. It's just like rallying, it's like volleying.
Right.
And,
no, especially in the figuring out whose pregnancy test was whose scene. I felt like so much of that back and forth was just so hysterical.
Yeah, I mean, like, JT improvised that line of righty tighty lefty loosey. Like, that was we were just going in like 15 circles of, like, kind of the who's on first right. Kind of existence. And I was like, I was just milking the crap out of that speech. We're just like, just kind of like, okay, so that was in the right. No, you know what it was? It was like, yours was in the right, the left, and that's what I'm saying, right? Right. You know what I mean? Then like righty tighty lefty, and it was just made me laugh. So we cracked up a lot in that scene.
No, that was just, and I feel like somewhat relatable for people, who are dealing with either a scare. I thought it showed a great walk of life in terms of the age where you're afraid. You're taking the pregnancy test and you're like,
yeah. And
then the age where you're like, I kind of want it. And it's like, it kind of showed that entire.
Yeah, like every spectrum of, not even the age, just like where you are in life. You're like,
exactly.
Want to not be pregnant, or scared of being pregnant, or desperately trying to get pregnant.
Exactly, and it kind of showed one of each of those, and I thought that was so funny.
There's a lot of fun story for the future. I hope that people can find the show on Hulu and ABC, because I do think that some of my favorite episodes this season, the Grisham girls, when Jessica St. Clair came on as Lennon's sister, who's a rodeo queen, and she comes in just like frickin' hair a flippin' and like booty on a horse, and it's just like, woohoo, yeehaw. And she is also a comedy powerhouse, and one of our favorite scenes of the season is this like dinner table scene with we could not keep it together because it was such a fun comedic game that we were playing, and it was Jessica St. Clair, Lennon Parham, Dax, and myself, and I'm getting brewingly jealous about Jessica St. Clair's character, and like see how terrible she is, and Dax is like totally unaware and just like, you know, luxuriating and falling into her web of like sexuality. And
Right.
you know, it was one of the, it was such a fun game, comedic game. And so, you know, that from, you know, I mean, the Halloween episode, which is, can sometimes be like, ooh, you know, it's like, that's one of my favorite episodes. So
It was so fun. And I feel like the show especially, I mean, it's in its second season, and everything started obviously before this pandemic, but it's randomly so apt to what's going on. I mean, even the finale with the tornado, as brief as the warning was, like, they're also in this disaster, right?
there are so many.
And Lysol, how they wanted to name the baby Lysol. I was like,
I know. I
like, you must have known.
Pandemic, I will say. But it is strangely resonant. And just, I think thematically, that whole thing, like you operate for your community and you pick each other up in times of darkness, you know, and that, which I think is the feeling we end with, is really kind of the core of the show, you know.
Right.
And that, you know, I think that's why they love it there, you know. And it's an idealism, but it's also it lives and breathes, it's real, you know. So I think that is what America's about. You know,
That's all. Well, and we're even seeing it more again, I live in LA, and it's like you said earlier, urban, and it's like people are kind of more doing their own thing, and there's not as strong of a sense of community as there can be in, you know, small towns. But right now I feel like neighbors are helping. I've had more conversations with my neighbors in the past month than probably, you know, in the past year. And it's funny how the show, without knowing what would happen, totally hits that nail on the head and is like totally universal. Go for it.
Hello, are you okay? Okay, good. He's okay.
My boyfriend is currently in our bedroom with the dog, making sure he doesn't bark. So it's coronavirus time.
Oh, thank you. Can I have this?
It was Pokey.
Oh, it is Pokey. You're right. Thank you for doing that, sweetie.
So how is it being mothering during this time? What's that like?
You know what, girl? It's everybody's in it together and has their different challenges. You
I'm
know.
hot, Mom.
You what?
Hot.
You're hot. He's hot. Excuse me, world.
No, go for it.
Are you warm? Your body's warm? Can I feel it? Oh yeah, it is warm. Do you want to go get some fresh cold water? Maybe ice or hookah?
We'll drink some. We'll go from kitchen.
Okay, get a cold one then. It is really, I think, you know, it's so funny. People are like, oh, you know, we're all in it together. And I do believe that we are in it together. But as you said, it's also very separate. Everyone's existence is, and everyone's experience is very different. You know, you have, you know, children under the ages of, you know, under the age of 5 versus when you have like older kids who are like really yearning to have their social connection for other reasons. You know, it's like if you have teenagers or something, that's a totally different experience. Kids who have to like really academically keep up, or you have, you know, a child with an illness or, you know, special needs. You know, it's like that, you know, you're single and you're lonely and you don't have any, you know, I mean, there's just a vastly different experience that we're all enduring. And you know, your people's social, you know, sort of economic status, as well as, you know, sort of what their home life is like, really provides a difference. And I think that part of it, is why the communal part, the community aspect of things, is that we are all sort of graciously respectful of of each other's different experiences, and that that part feels really real. But it's like I can't imagine what it is to live in someone else's shoes in this scenario, and people who are essential workers might My sister-in-law is a healthcare worker in Portland, and you know, I think of her literally every day, at all hours, just because that job is so essential, and also, you know, literally you're putting your life at risk every day. And you know, she's my sister, and you know, I feel for her, and it's frustrating for people in that, you know, who don't have the resources they need, or, you know, are seeing people fall ill when they shouldn't, you know, and all that. So it's just alarmingly different, really, for everyone.
And we need Rio as a therapist for us all.
They're like, Rio seems really convincing as a therapist. Is she a therapist in real life? Well, well, no, in some, it's not real. It's real, not real. It's not a non-scripted, you know. It's like, you know. But anyway, look, it's so funny. It's like when we do, I'm in development on a lot of shows, and I think with every, you know, beginning of every meeting, it's such an interesting way in. People are kind of like, you don't just jump to the chase. Everyone's like, how are you? Have you been, you know, what's up? Is everyone healthy? You know, it's like, that's the small talk, the how's the weather,
Right.
and is really, far more poignant and far more, personal, you know.
Totally. Instead of getting annoyed during meetings that are like lagging on, I think people are really looking and grasping for that external connection, especially if you're not really speaking to anyone besides your family all day.
And then there's just an allowance of like, I'm not going to be like, go away, son, who's deeply proud of the accomplishment,
Right.
like, because I'm on live chat with you, you know. There is this, real patience I think people have, which is also, poignant. So anyway,
We love that.
I hope everyone enjoys the show tonight. And you can always watch it on Hulu. And sorry if we made any spoilers.
I'm going to turn on comments. Yeah, if we have any fan questions or comments, maybe all the people got mad at me for turning them off originally, but
okay, let me see.
We will look for the next minute or so and see if anything interesting pops up. I'm really interested in what Rio and Mike are going to name the baby, but
of course people can weigh in on their ideas. Okay, so
who's your favorite character from the show?
Well, I mean, I'm biased, but I might say Bowman, because Lennon Parham really injects some incredible feistiness that makes me laugh really hard. Will there be a season 3? We don't know yet. We will let you know as soon as we know. How did you come up with Bless This Mess title? Actually, my husband came up with it.
It's a good title.
Yeah, he actually tattooed that on one of our best friends, Colin Devmore, with a prison tattoo gun that he made out of garbage. Anyway, long story. Who would you like to have as a guest? Good Lord. You know, the list goes on. I got to be honest. Celia Weston was on she is somebody that I've tried to work with on numerous occasions. And we tried to get her on the show in the past. So this was really fun that she got to come and play Mrs. Skillet, because I just loved her. I mean, her and Flirting with Disaster. Good Lord. I love you too. Fun fact, we're talking about clothes in the show. This is my shirt from the pilot. I wore this in the pilot, and so I thought I'd wear it on finale night.
Oh, so, I love that.
Yeah, hi, it's good to see you. Yeah, so I just thought that would be like a fun thing to do in honor of the finale. Okay, Arabella.
Oh yeah, wait, I was gonna do you like working with the goat? I was gonna ask you about the farm animals.
Yeah.
And your experience working with them.
You know, it's hard. Everyone knows it's hard working with animals, but certainly the working with the goat, yeah, she's awesome. You know, the first goat that we had actually fell pregnant. So good for her. She gave birth and like have her babies, and Liz and I were like, oh my God, we can't make her work during maternity leave, and so we let her have her maternity leave. But yeah, they're great. I mean, you kind of get what you get. You put the camera on them and you just let it, you know, see what happens. Is that my naturally wavy hair? Somewhat, but I give it some zhuzh. Let's be honest. I put a tong in there and I put a little.
Yeah.
How to make it in America. People are asking about that. All I want to say is, thank you. Okay, I think there should be a reboot. Okay, I tried to get so far I got no bite. So if this can make it happen, great. But I agree, it's awesome. Blah blah blah.
Do you have farm animals in your house?
Do I have farm animals in my own house?
Yeah, that's what one of them said.
Is that what you mean? No, I have only human children animals. I love your sink. That one? Okay, chickens. We don't have chickens. I try to get chickens, but the problem is you get the chicken, we have rats, and then you put the chicken feed out there, and then finally got rid of the rats, and then they'll come and eat the chicken. So we decided no. Blah, blah, blah. See, now that you finally have a truck on the farm and tonight, yes, we do, because you have to see that other episode where we get a truck. It was a big deal. Listen, it was Dax Shepard's favorite episode, because you got to like.
Have you guys been doing any like bless this mess, like group FaceTimes or Zoom calls to brainstorm or hang out?
Buck snort, cocktail hour, is fun. Okay, so yes. Okay, good, great.
Perfect. Yeah.
Any other questions? I'm right here. I'm listening to you. I didn't see the start of this, but you didn't see the start of it, so you know what I'm saying. What's up, motherfucker? It's great. What's up?
What's up? You know what? I
Oh.
think that's a perfect thing to end on. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. Biggest inspiration in life, my mom, 100%. Holy crap, that woman, Robin Bell, got to give her a massive shout out. She just is, she's like supportive of, she's always been like, I think you should write, you know, when I was like.
How much of Rio's character's mom is like your mom, or not at all?
Nothing like my mom. Yeah, even though I love me Susie Yasmin, she's incredible, and I feel so lucky to work with her. My mom is very soft-spoken and very respectful, and just like doesn't want to, make a fuss. And she's lovely. She's the opposite. Any advice to actors moving to LA? Yes, write. Force yourself to write. Okay, because it's a great tool for when you're just like coming up, and then it just gets your brain working, and you understand the mechanics of dialogue within a script. And I think it's a huge asset to any actor. And then I would say audition the crap out of everything. Just don't even be like picky about things. Just like keep auditioning. It's all practice. Thoughts on social media? I mean, we're here in this time. I don't know what we would do without it. Normally it's too much, and I have to myself from it, but otherwise, yeah. And then, okay, thank you for answering this question. It's great.
Perfect.
Isn't that nice?
That's perfect. Now everyone needs to go watch the finale.
Yeah, let's do that. By the way, lastly, it's a favorite question, but favorite food, artichoke, obviously. And I just want to say, oh, wow.
Hi. I love you. You look great. You're so sweet.
You guys, I gotta go smush that baby. I just do.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Watch Bless This Mess all day, every day on tonight, but also ABC and Hulu. Thank you so much for listening and being here.
Thanks, everyone. Go watch Bless This Mess. Yay.
Bye.
Bye.